Hey guys, Jeff here, Dice Setters. So I will be in Vegas this weekend, and I got my first person that wanted to do the $100 challenge. $100 challenge is we both take $100, and the rules quite aren't in stone. So I need your help. I need you guys to sit there, leave me some comments, tell me what you think is fair. My idea was my $100 is good for my throwing session, and the other person's $100 is good for their throwing session. And at the point of 77 out, you get the total. And if you're over $200, that means you doubled your money. And if there's a tie, it goes for the person who has more than the other. But if neither person reaches double, then if you two opt to try it one more time, you can try it one more time. That's my thinking. Then there's other things in there too. Once the 7 out happens, that's the end of your session. It doesn't say that you can't do a don't if you want to. Just know that when you 7 out, the money you have in your possession has to be more than, it has to be 200 or more. And then I didn't want someone just to go wacko on the field or lay bet, because it's like baseball. It's more of a challenge of, what can we do to make it, I guess more challenging. Only a quarter in the field, so a quarter or less in the field. Only a quarter or less on a lay. My question to you guys is the horn. Should you limit how much money you can put in the horn? I mean, the horn's extreme. Do I sit there and put $50 on the horn? No, I don't think I'd ever hit that. Then again, if you're that good of a dice setter, maybe you can. I don't know. What to do about the horn? That's my question to you guys. Let me know in the comments. Do you limit the horn or not? Then the other question I had for you guys was the bonus. There'll be some places that the challenge will take place and there won't be a bonus, and there's other places that will have a bonus. Do you let the bonus happen or no to the bonus? And craps, or crapless tables or just regular tables. I will definitely put the line against the glass tables. No. Roll tables, crapless, or regular. So my question is to you guys. Horn, allow a certain amount, an unknown amount money on the horn, and what to do about the bonus. My two questions for you. When I first started doing this, I did not have much YouTube help as far as people to watch and help me through my progression of being a dice influencer, a dice setter. For those of you that don't, believe in that, all I can say is practice, man. You put the time and effort in it, you will see that it is not phony baloney. It gives you an edge. Not much of an edge, but it gives you enough of an edge that I practice a lot. That's how much of an edge it gave me. So you built yourself a practice craps table. Now what do you do? And this type of video was not out for me. It was trial and error. There are things I wish I knew prior, but you live and learn, basically. Table balance. That is crucial, crucial, crucial. Sometimes we listen to the sound of the dice hit the table at our casino, and it is different than the sound of the dice hitting the table at home. I was trying myself to get it close to that, but then talking to people, I will never get my table that way. The casinos can afford harder wood, more expensive wood if that's what they're using. Some of them might be using slate. You don't know. You won't know unless they actually had the table top off. And for me to see that, it'd probably be like on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday when they're less crowded, So I'll never see that. Plus, it probably happens at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm in bed at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. So don't confuse table bounce and table sound. I was confused about that too. I was like, well, the sound is there, but they're bouncing off the table. So don't be confused with table bounce and table sound. You want your table to replicate the casino that you always go to. If you go to many casinos, you got to pick one. If you can, I don't want to get you in trouble, but try to find a video of a live shot that gives you a short, a bounce to it, or you can sit there and try to do this. Security might not like that. That way you can compare it to what you have at home. Then at home, you do the same thing. Take a video of your dice bouncing. You can be close to the table and watch a video of your dice bouncing and watching the live dice bounce. Is it the same? If it's not the same, we don't have a practice table. That's all there is to it. It's close, but it's not what we're after. We want the real thing. There's certain ways of doing that, and I am truly not the expert at sitting there saying it's got to be this, it's got to be that. It's trial and error. That's all it is. If you are landing a foot in front of the wall and is hopping over, your table's too bouncy. If that happens at the casino, you need to change casinos because your casino you're playing at is too bouncy. First thing is pick a comfortable grip. Just because I throw it that way doesn't mean that you have to throw it that way. Some people have arthritis. I'm a mechanic. I can do all sorts of things with my fingers. Later on, I might have to sit there and pop all my joints to make it still do that, but my fingers are pretty good. You might not be able to do that. There's the one that I always do, 3-finger grip with these kind of holding everything. There's the claw. There's all sorts of things. There's even the underhand. Pick a grip and stick to it. After you are great at that, you can go to a different one. But by choosing different ones as you're doing the practice is not good. If it's comfortable, try it. Do it. If it's not comfortable, change it. But definitely have a very comfortable grip. I could do it in the dark if I had to. It's comfortable, it's easy, I know what I'm doing. Picking a dice set when you're practicing. Once you start practicing, pick a dice set. It truly doesn't matter what the dice set is. Pick something that's easy for you to remember because you're going to have to remember all sorts of things. You're going to have to remember, where do I start from? Where do I throw to? How am I throwing it? Just lots of other things. Pick one dice set and stick to that dice set. You can change it later on. Later on, change it, that's fine. But for the first 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, stick to one dice set. You go, I keep on ending up with a 7. It's fine. Relax. Don't worry about what the number is. You're up on top. While you're practicing, don't worry about the number that's on top. Practice with a good dice, with good dice, such as what Casino Tiers has. Do not practice with the dice that are canceled from your local casino. Don't do that. Change those dice out frequently. So when I first started, I was doing 3 to 5 hours a day, Monday through Friday, sometimes on Saturday, practicing. And I did that for a month to 2 months. I should have changed my dice a lot sooner than I did, but I did not realize that. I would definitely say after 7 hours of practicing, throw them in a bucket, get new. Another thing is when you order your dice from Casino Tiers or something like that, get 2 different colors. Whatever color you want to be the left die, make it that left die. Whatever color you want to be the right die, make it that right die. And when you throw, you need to keep track of left, right. What are your results? If you keep your dice set the same, you keep your landing zone the same, if you keep where you are throwing from the same, eventually everything will start working and you'll like, wow, I've thrown more of this number on the left side than any other number. And then you'll look at the right and you should see the same thing on the right. That's going to help you determine what die set you need to use for your table. But until you do the practicing, don't worry about the die set, but make it the same, make it easy for you to remember, because there's other things that you'll have to remember. Again, don't focus on what is the number you end up with when you add them together. Don't let that bother you. Don't sit there and say, you know what, yesterday I was not rolling a 7 at all, and now today I'm rolling 7s like crazy. Don't worry about that. Keep track of left die, right die. Keep track of that. That's going to help you later on get your die set so that you won't throw 7s. But we've got to get a pattern. Once you have a pattern, that means that your landing zone is starting to get smaller. That means that where you pick up the dice is the same. That means the way that you're releasing the dice is the same. And that's what we've got to have consistency. Once you have consistency, your numbers will start being consistent. Let your thumb go. Don't let your fingers go. Because if you let your thumb go, they'll trail off perfectly. If you let your fingers go, your thumb's going to push the dice and they're going to split. Guarantee you on that one. Once you've been doing this for, let's say, you've practiced 5 times a week. This is not like a treadmill that you bought for Christmas and now you're using it to store your clothes on. This is an investment that you need to sit there and practice. You need to make sure that you can do this all the time, easy. Right before the casino, you might want to sit there and brush up a hair more, make sure you got everything down, the mechanics down, your throw down. But after, say, a month, you're like, I don't see a pattern. I have the same amount of 1s I'm throwing as the 2s, the 3s, the 4s, the 5s, and the 6s. You've got to go back to the beginning, and that is your landing zone has got to be spot on every single time. The way you pick up the dice, it's got to be exact. The way you throw it and the way you let go of it has got to be the same. Because if your results are not changed, then you have to look back to why. It's not the dice's fault. It's your fault. But you got to figure out what it is. Is my landing zone not right? Here's a big one right here. And this will help. I hope this will help a lot of people. Your landing zone, believe it or not, does not need to be the center of the table. If your landing zone is in the center of the table, the only way that's going to work best for you is if you can grip the dice from the center of the table. You'd have to be pretty tall to sit there and get your dice started in the very center of the table. Now, if that's you, man, roll it down the center. But most of us can't sit there and hardly get, we could probably touch the center, but definitely not comfortable to sit there and throw it. So if you are throwing a foot, a half a foot from the edge of the table, your landing zone needs to be identical. If it's not, you are going to sit there and make your dice move this way or that way. They'll hit and they will roll that direction. And that's not what you want. That changes your axis and everything. Think about that. I know sometimes we have to avoid dice. We have to avoid chips with our dice. For those of you that know dice setting, and you see someone dice setting, and you're at the end of the table, for the love of Pete, move your chips. Please please move your chips. I can't tell you how long to do this. There's got to be I'm going to practice this many hours, this many days. You've got to then set a time to visit your local casino. Are the dice bouncing the same way? Am I getting the same results? If not, you've got to go back home and fix it. It's got to be the same. That's the only reason why we have a practice table at home. If it were drastically different than the casino we always visit, it's not helping us a bit. It's got to be drastically correct to the casino that we visit. When you first start practicing, you need to be on L1 or R1. And you should be able to do both at the same time if you wanted to. Practice doing L1 and R1 together. Because you'll get to the table and L1's picked, is someone sitting there. And you're like, man, that's my spot. Well, if you know how to do R1, go to R1. Or if someone's in R1, go to L1. The further out you become, the less of a help dice setting becomes. If you're going to be sitting at the end of the table, of a 16-foot table, dice setting truly is not going to have that much of a help to you. It's impossible. 16 feet. That's a long distance. When you go to your casinos, look for the ones that don't have 16-foot tables. Look for ones that have 14s. That's what you're looking for. Probably nobody has 12s, but 14s. 14's a good number. And stick with L1 or R1. If worst case scenario, L2, R2. Be able to throw both of them. So for your practice, one day you want to do L1. For your practice, the next day you want to do R1. You want to be able to do both. Because you don't want to come to the casino and go, I couldn't play because someone was sitting at my spot for the last 20 hours. You don't want that. I hope for those of you that are thinking about a table or that have made a table, I hope this has been truly a help for you. It really doesn't matter how high it sits up, how low it sits up, how wide it is. As long as you have something that bounces the same, as long as you have something that can mimic that bounce, and you know you have the distance, that's truly all that matters. You could have a small table like they have on Amazon and use that. They're expensive, but that is better than nothing. I wish I had this information when I first started because I didn't know what I was doing. I watched the bone thrower, and that was it. A lot of it was me scratching my head going, well, there's got to be something different, and me trying it and go, oh, well, that's it right there. You notice I'm wearing Arizona. It's my favorite time of the year. The weather is perfect. We have 3 types of weather in Arizona. You have too cold, you have a furnace, and then you have right now. It's perfect. Could not ask for it to be any better than right now. Spring training. Favorite time of the year. Baseball season. You can smell it. It's in the air. Baseball season. Like, share, subscribe. Please tell me for help for that $100 challenge. What to do about bonus. Do we let bonus happen? Most of the time the table has a cutoff on the bonus. Most times it's like $10, $20. So it's not like, you're trying for doubling your money of 100. So it really wouldn't make sense to say, oh, you can only do $10 on the bonus. Not for sure about the horn. Let me know about the horn. Again, you're working on the extremes. If someone were to put $50 on the horn, plus they've got $20 for their pass line, that gives them only $30 left. If they put $50 on the horn and threw a horn number, they're going to double their money. But if they miss, they're only going to be stuck with $30 plus the 20 on the pass line. They could have one more shot at it, put 30 bucks back on the horn. If they throw it and miss it, they're only stuck with $20 on the pass line. They can't do anything until they hit their number. Let me know. What do you think is fair? Do you think what I propose is fair? If not, tell me. I want to be as fair as possible. You're trying to double your $100 while you are rolling the dice, not on anybody else. Now, again, if we're at a table and the table's kind of crowded, you're going to have to go by their rules. Sometimes they say, well, you've got to sit there and participate. That's fine. But when it comes to your shot, $100 to double it, put $100 there. Take the rest, put it in your pocket. Now you're playing with $100. Go for the challenge, and then I will do the same thing. And we're trying to double our money, $200 or higher. So if there's a tie, you definitely want to get a lot more higher than 200, so you don't lose. But tell me what your guys' thinking. Your guys' thoughts are. I hope this was a help. If it was, please put it in the comments. I want to hear that this was a help. If you're like, whatever, whatever, let me know. I don't watch other people's crap channels, so I don't know if this information's even there anymore. I don't know. I don't know what's out there. You guys are the ones that say, you need to post this, so I'm posting it. It's one of the top things people research when they find my channel is homemade practice tables. So YouTube never lies. No. Their algorithm sometimes are really confusing, but they do tell me what you guys are searching for when you do happen to find me. And that's one of the things that a lot of people are looking for when they do find me. So I hope I was a help. If so, let me know. Give me a thumbs up. And please answer my questions, because I only have you guys. Nobody else, whatever. They don't understand. You guys understand. You guys know what I'm talking about. Let me know. Have a good one, guys.